Contrary to how prevalent this behavior has become on social media, it is in fact not normal to use the internet to send hate to random strangers. In the span of just a week, we have had two highly visible Black women content creators and influencers, Gloria and BME Queen India, quit social media over the hateful, abusive, racist, and sexist misogynoir that they have experienced and been on the receiving end of on social media. India posted a video on her YouTube page. It's about 50 minutes long. I highly encourage you to listen to it. Gloria, on the other hand, posted a statement on both TikTok and Instagram, and I want to take a second to read it. Hi babes, I'm logging off for a bit. The internet has become an increasingly violent space, particularly for dark-skinned Black women. It's heartbreaking and harmful to constantly confront the overwhelming colorist, anti-Black, and racist rhetoric that's directed at us by the masses. No one should be forced to endure that level of emotional trauma. What's even more disturbing is how bigotry and white fragility are amplified when Black women, especially those with darker skin, speak out. The world consistently refuses to listen to us or acknowledge our experiences. There's a persistent failure to see dark-skinned Black women as fully human, as deserving of the same empathy, respect, and grace afforded to others. We are often dehumanized, either erased or harshly criticized because the world doesn't know how to engage with our existence beyond stereotypes and shallow narratives. This is the harsh reality. Society has long been conditioned to dismiss us, to see us as less deserving of care and protection. That dehumanization allows for the continued disrespect and disregard for our voices, our bodies, and our contributions. This has to change. Black women deserve to be treated with dignity. Black creatives deserve recognition and respect, and dark-skinned women deserve to be seen, valued, and humanized in every sense. We are not here to be performers for the world's consumption, nor are we here to be your punching bag. We are here to live fully with the humanity that should never be questioned or denied. I recognize that the internet has never been a safe space for anyone, but there's a certain level of vitriol, hatefulness, abuse, and racism that is thrust upon Black women for simply showing up on the internet and having the audacity to show up as themselves. We are so aware of the ways sexism and racism and all of the other isms impact us on a daily basis in our societies, but the internet is a microcosm of that larger society. So if there are things happening in society, in the world, in our day-to-day interactions, that is absolutely happening online. And the level of misogynoir that has existed always online has been amplified and transformed due to social media and the rise of influencers and creatives and content creators and people who just sit here on the internet and, like I said, have the audacity to take up space in a manner in which people don't like and is triggering for them. It is not normal. It is not normal. It is not normal. The early days of the internet, before social media became a factor in the equation, those early days of being on the internet, especially Twitter, was such a hateful, hostile space for Black women. The memes, the dialogue, the stereotypes, just open violence and misogynoir for everyone to see. It became a joke and nobody thought anything of it. This was normal. It was normal for Black women to be on the receiving end of all of these hateful stereotypes, and everyone was engaging in this, not just white people. There were a lot of Black men who were sitting here and engaging in the same behavior. So when I speak about racism that is being displayed and showed towards Black women, specifically Black women content creators, Black women influencers, Black women vloggers, Black women showing up on this internet, the hate that we receive is a very specific type of hate that is exclusive to just Black women, and it's even worse when you are darker skinned. This misogynoir was amplified due to social media, specifically with Instagram, and has ballooned with TikTok. I don't know if y'all remember the social media personalities, Blame It on K-Way, maybe it's Quay, I'm not entirely sure, Pat D. Lucky. They would put on their wigs and just portray the worst stereotypes about Black women. And it's like, I don't know any Black women who behave this way. And not only do I not know any Black women who behave this way, why is it funny? Why are these stereotypes hilarious? Why are we laughing at Black men and white men putting on wigs and affecting Black sense and ghetto stereotypes of Black women? Why is this funny? And it was even more disturbing because people are seeing this type of portrayal online and then treating the Black women that they may interact with in real life regarding them with this level of disdain, regarding them with these stereotypes. And that's always been the biggest issue when it comes to how Black women are portrayed in media and on social media. We have never been in control of our narrative. And this is the first time we're seeing in our society collectively where Black women, we are in control of our narrative. We are in control of our image. We are showing up. We are offering a diversity. And as we recognize Black women are not a monolith, we are also seeing Black women take control of our image and the narrative around us. We see more multi-dimensional portrayals of Black women, not just in media, but also in the content creators that are now popping up and the influencers that we're seeing. For so long, Black people, especially Black women, we've been saying we're not a monolith, and this is the first time in our society we are seeing Black women take control of our image, of our narrative, especially on social media. And what has started to happen is that in the past, the image of Black women was flattened. We are seeing that image, that narrative, these different types of Black women, the different types of ways to show up as a Black woman and be a Black woman. We are now finally seeing that robustly take form with influencers, with content creators, with creatives who are showing up on social media as themselves. And this is changing the narrative. This is changing the stereotypes about Black women we have been led to believe as a result of media over time, when Black women were never in control of our image. And as we are taking control of our image, we have increasingly become more verbal and vocal about all of the ways we experience misogynoir, we experience hate, we experience racism, we experience abuse, and that has seemed to frustrate a lot of people. I think how verbal and vocal Black women are, along with us just taking up space, I think it really is starting to frustrate people for several different reasons. One, because we don't respect content creators, we don't respect influencers, we don't respect people showing up in this space. You know, social media and building a career off of it and becoming a public figure as a result of just sitting down in front of a camera and hitting record, people don't respect that as a profession. And I think people don't respect it as a profession because it's heavily tied to women's work. When we think about a lot of popular vloggers, bloggers, influencers, social media personalities, a lot of them are women. And we are very hateful as a society, misogyny one-on-one. We are very hateful and just diminish the work of women. Anything that is attached to women's work, anything that is attached to the feminine perspective is undervalued. I think that's one of the reasons why creators, influencers, social media personalities are not respected. The work that we do, how we contribute is not respected at all. I think also it is a non-traditional job. It's a non-traditional role. This is very new. This idea that you can sit in front of a camera and make millions of dollars a year, it is a very new thing. And I think people get frustrated by the idea that they have done everything right. You know, they've gone to school, they've gotten a degree, they followed this traditional path, and it's not paying off for them the ways in which they think they deserve. And so when you see somebody else not following a traditional path and they're benefiting in your brain anyways, that you think they're benefiting more than you, instead of some people to look within or be like, hey, how can I do that? Or how can I make this shift? What we do and what a lot of people do instead is just like send hate towards the way of these people. And it's easier to send that hate now because you're doing it behind a computer screen. You're doing it behind your phone. You don't have to interact with people on a daily basis. And I think that is part of why we are now seeing this proliferation and normalization of hatefulness, of racism, of sexism, of abuse, of vitriol on social media. Creators as a whole are not respected. And I think we are also living now in a time where everybody is struggling, everybody is suffering. So if you are struggling, if you are living paycheck to paycheck and you hop on social media and you see somebody who is living this lavish lifestyle that you think that has come easy to them, which by the way, it's not easy. If it was easy, everybody would be doing it. But anyways, if you see someone living this lavish lifestyle as a result of a job which you don't think is real work, which you automatically undervalue, there is this growing level of hostility, and it has become acceptable to throw this hostility at people, and there are no consequences for it. And when we view the internet as a microcosm of society, it is Black women who are the most hurt in real life and online. There are so few Black creators and influencers with large platforms that for two of them in the span of a week to step away from social media, citing the same things, it is a larger reflection that something is happening here. Something that has always been happening, just took a different form, and it is time for something to tangibly be done about this because it is not okay. And I want to say that it would be one thing if they were posting a specific kind of content. However, there are very few types of content that anyone could post on the internet that would justify opening them up to the receiving backlash of so much vitriol and hate. However, India posts travel content, and Gloria is a makeup and beauty influencer who speaks about inclusivity. And these two benign things, traveling and makeup inclusivity, is what people have ran them off the internet over. What these two had to say about travel content and inclusivity when it comes to makeup brands was so offensive that they deserve to be on the receiving end of misogynoir, vitriol, and hateful abuse day in and day out. And somehow it has become normalized that this type of behavior is okay. To show up as a Black woman in daily life is hard enough. To put yourself in front of a camera as means of your job or to create a community, to build a following for whatever reason, to put yourself out there is not grounds to receive hateful abuse. You do not sign up for it and you do not open up yourself for it. No one deserves that. And people are comfortable with this behavior because there's a disconnect when it comes to these screens. A lot of people who sit behind these faceless, nameless, private accounts would never sit there and say it to your face. There is a level of humanity that is stripped when we are engaging and interacting with people on screens. However, we so frequently dehumanize Black women that there are some people who would not only actually sit here and say this to Black women's faces, but they do not understand and they do not care about the real impacts of their behavior because they do not view Black women as humans. They do not view Black women as equals. They do not view Black women as people who are deserving of love, respect, and care. Even if you disagree. There are people actively causing harm in real life and on the internet with their content, with the things that they say, with the things that they do. But people choose to instead reserve their energy for Black women who are just showing up in a way that makes you uncomfortable because of your internalized misogynoir and anti-Blackness. We do not view influencers as humans. We do not view content creators and creatives as human beings deserving of love, deserving of respect, deserving of care. Black women, on top of all of this, Black women creators get less opportunities than their white counterparts. Counterparts, if they have the same level of following and community, they get less opportunities, they get less pay, and they still show up because this is their job. And I want to go back on this because in the span of a week, we have had people advocate for antisocial behaviors in their line of work. You are in a customer service position and you don't have to say hi to anyone. Being forced to say hi to someone coming into your job to receive the services that your business is advertising, your place of work is advertising, and you as a customer service representative feel like it is too draining for you, feel like it is crossing your own personal boundary. That you would be required as part of your job to say hi. But in the same breath, we sit here and say that influencers have to open themselves up for abuse and expect it because it is a part of their job. So which is it? Which is it? Because it can't be both. It can't be both. What you are advocating for with this mentality that they should expect it because it is part of their job and they signed up for this when they put the camera in front of their face. What you are saying, if you are one of those people with that mentality, I want you to think about this for a second because what you're essentially saying is it is okay for somebody to walk into your place of employment and treat you like trash, abuse you, be unkind to you, be hateful towards you because you are in that line of work and that's what you signed up for. You would probably sit there and think somebody would be crazy to say that. So why is it not crazy to feel that way about an influencer or social media personality? What's not clicking, Steven? I in part feel so passionately about this, because I want us to recognize the humanity in others. Social media is degrading human connection and interaction. It is absolutely insane to me that we think it is acceptable to treat people like this. I also feel very strongly about this because as a soul cycle instructor, I've been in the fitness industry for 8 years. I know what it is like to be on the receiving end of vitriol, misogynoir, hatefulness, people being unkind to you, people being rude to you for simply existing in your place of work. Because of apps like ClassPass, where you are able to sign up for a fitness class and then afterwards you are not able to book another class until and unless you write a review. And people can get on there and anonymously say anything about the instructor, about their experience, and it goes out there to everyone. I have been on the receiving end. I don't read it anymore. I honestly don't. I have not read a ClassPass review in years for my own mental health. It is crazy though, the amount of things people think it is okay to say. It is one thing to share your experience, especially if it's a way in which your instructor can grow, if it's something that can tangibly help make the class a better experience for everybody else. Maybe the music was too loud, maybe the mic, you couldn't hear your instructor over the mic, maybe you needed more instructions, fair. But to sit there and say, I didn't like the way the instructor looked, I didn't like the music they played, to slam the instructor for things they can't control, I've been on the receiving end of that. It is not normal. It is not normal to wake up and see yourself on a Reddit thread of people talking shit about you and being hateful to you, which I have also been on the receiving end of. It's not okay. At no point ever were we meant to know at any time how anyone felt about us. Thousands of people. It's not normal. It's not normal. I don't deserve it as an instructor. I don't sign up for it just because I'm an instructor. I don't sign up for it as a part of my job. Influencers don't sign up for it. Content creators do not sign up for it. Creatives and public figures do not sign up for it. Part of being in any job where you are front-facing, public-facing, interfacing with people behind a screen or in front of a screen, it does not make it okay for people to be hateful and abusive towards you. And I don't know how we got to that place as a society, but it is not okay. And the frustrating part is Meta and TikTok and these other social media platforms, they do nothing to protect people. So we have to protect ourselves. And a lot of us protect ourselves by either A, not reading anything at all. And I don't think anybody needs to open up themselves for the abuse that often comes with anonymity. The only tool that is available to many of us is the block button. And it's crazy because then you have also people saying that, oh, if you use the block button, you're weak or you're shutting down criticism. There is a difference between criticism and hate. And it seems like a lot of people are unable to understand the difference and disagree with someone or share their opinion that you may not like something, but be respectful about it. It's as if people do not understand that there is a way to express dissatisfaction and disagree with someone without being hateful, cruel, and unnecessarily mean. I don't know where we lost the plot. I don't know where we lost the plot, but this is just where we are now. So when creators and influencers and social media personalities, when they use the block button to protect themselves because it's the only tool that is available for them to set boundaries or even word filters, that's something that I have started using now because some of the content I post talking about racism, talking about diversity, inclusion, and representation seems to really irritate and frustrate and anger people. So even the content I post, I have now created word filters. So there are certain things that I have to approve, and just sitting there and approving those things, having to go through dozens of comments of people being hateful, it's not normal. It's not normal. And so when creators use that block button, because that's the only thing that they have to set their own boundaries, to navigate a world that is increasingly cruel and unkind as a result of anonymity, then people have the nerve to turn around and shit on them for not being willing to open up themselves for caustic criticism. It's actually insane. And I don't know how we got here. I don't know how we got here, but something absolutely has to change because a lot of y'all are not okay. And instead of you to do things that would make you okay, instead of you to seek out help and community and friendship and love, it is so much easier to project that hatred onto others than regulate your emotions and check yourself and work on the ways in which you are not okay. And the fact that in just 1 week, 2 highly visible Black women have been run off of social media, it's not okay. It's sick. I fully recognize the internet is not a safe space, like I said. However, the things that we have normalized in the same amount of time as Black women are taking control of their narrative and image, it seems really frustrating to a lot of people that they can no longer flatten Black women and punch down on Black women. And so often Black women have been the scapegoats of our society, the least of our society. And in a society where it is increasingly feeling like people have nothing or there are things being stripped away from them, it seems like the one thing people feel like they can hold on to is this need to feel and be better than others. And now that Black women are taking that away from people by showing up as our full selves, for not being okay with stereotypes, for being in control of our image, for saying we're not going to take this anymore. It seems like so many people are so frustrated that they can't punch down anymore, but that is a personal problem. What I find the most sad about this is there is this degrading sense of social responsibility to one another. We are so siloed. We are existing in our echo chambers. And I talked about it in my previous video about the rise in antisocial behavior. This behavior, it doesn't only hurt the people around you, it hurts you. I often think about like Voldemort. If you're a Harry Potter fan, you know about this. Voldemort, in order to attain that power, he had to split himself. And every single time he split himself, he split literally his soul. He lost a part of his humanity until he became this monster that you couldn't recognize. Because he had nothing. He was completely devoid of any humanity. And this is what I genuinely feel, what I think about when I envision someone sitting behind a computer screen just typing freaking hate. You are stripping away your humanity by sending that hate to somebody else. And I think if more of us thought about it in those terms, it would cause more of us to reevaluate how we use social media and how we engage and interface with the people around us in real life. I hope Gloria and India are okay. I really hope that any Black woman using social media in any capacity is okay. And this is not just for Black women creators, it's for all creators. It's for anyone who is posting content at any level and putting yourself out there. You have the right to create a space that is safe for you. Do not hesitate or do not feel bad about blocking people, your own boundaries, what you need to feel safe, because Meta, TikTok, they are not creating environments that are safe for us. So we have to find a way to make these spaces safe for ourselves. Comment down below. Let me know what you thought about this video. Do not forget to subscribe and follow. And until next time, peace out.